of May 2015, SL Maths, Paper 1, Time Zone 1, last question, question 10. You know it's coming. It's going to be a probability question of some description. They always throw one into these longer parts. A lot of people struggle with them. You know that they're pretty easy, but just keep your wits about you. Let's go through and see how we go on this one. So well, we better read the question first. I was about to jump into part A, but I haven't read it. Anne and Bob play a game where they each have an 8-sided die. Anne's die has 3 green and 5 red faces. Bob's has 4 green and 4 red. They take turns rolling their own die and note what colour faces up. First player to roll green wins. Anne rolls first, part of the tree diagram. The game is shown there. Let's see what happens. Find the probability that Anne wins on her first roll. So it has 3 green faces, and the first player to roll green wins. So the probability that Anne wins on her first roll equals 3 out of 5, and that's scrolling a little bit there. Oh, sorry, 3 out of 8 would make much more sense. 3 of them are green out of the total, so 3 out of 8 done. The probability that Anne wins on her third roll is 5/8 by 4/8 by P by Q by 3/8. Write down the value of P and Q. Well, let's see. She's going to win here. So they've given you somewhere to show you working. So she's got to lose the first one. 5/8. Then Bob loses. Now, we could write it as a half, but let's just write that as 4/8 because that's what they're giving us over here. Then Anne loses again. So that's 5/8. Bob loses 4/8. Anne wins 3/8. All right, so therefore P equals 5/8 and Q equals 4/8. Now, given that multiplication is commutative, they probably have to accept that if you wrote them the other way around, but just keep them in the logical order. It makes sense. So 5/8 would be the third roll. 4/8 is probability of Bob losing on the fourth roll. Anne's third roll is the 5th roll overall, and there we have it. The probability that Anne wins on her 10th roll is 3/8 times r to the power of k. R is an element of Q and k is an element of Z. Find the value of R and K. All right, what are we going to do here? Well, if you have a close look, we've got a little clue in our last diagram there. This was 5/8 by 4/8, wasn't it? And here again, we had 5/8 by 4/8. Every time we've got a pair of losses, we're going to have Anne by 5/8 and Bob by 4/8. So what does that simplify to? That's 5/16, because we can just make 4/8 a half, 5/8 by a half, 5/16. So how many of those do we have to, if she wins on her 10th roll, her 10th roll has a probability of 3/8, and then we're going to have 9 sets of losses before that. So we're going to have the probability of 5/16 9 times. So R equals, and we better show our working, so 5/8 by 4/8, and maybe showing it up there is enough, or bracketing it here in that question, but you just want to make sure of it. So it's 20/48, but we've already said that we know what that is. That's 5/16, and R, we're going to, K, how many losses are we going to have? K is going to be 9. There must be 9 sets of both person losing before we get Anne winning on her 10th roll. Find the probability that Anne wins the game. So what would be the probability that she wins on the first roll? W1 for wins on first. That's 3/8. What's the probability she wins on her second roll? Well, we figured that out before, didn't we? It was 3/8 multiplied by this number of 5/16. The probability that Anne wins on her third roll, some of you have seen it already, others are just about to see it. This is going to be 3/8 by 5/16. I left off the 16 there. And that would have to happen twice, etc., etc. it looks like we have a geometric sequence there for all of Anne's victories. So if I added up the probability she won on the first one, plus the probability of the second one, plus the probability of the third one, I'm now adding the terms of a geometric sequence, which is a geometric series going on forever. So the sum to infinity of a geometric series, we've got U1 over 1 take R. Therefore, the probability that Anne wins, we should maybe write that first. Oh no, we can probably just write it over here. Probability that A wins equals U1, which of course my initial value, 3/8, divided by 1 minus, the ratio was 5/16. This is pretty nice. 3/8 divided by 11/16. Division, multiplication by a reciprocal is what division is. That's by 16/11. Do your cancelling. 8 goes into that once, into that twice. The probability that Anne wins, that's 2, doesn't really look like 1, that's better, is 3 by 2, 6 out of 11. There you go, you've done it. You've smashed through paper 1. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you've got any questions, you know where to find me to ask me. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next paper 2, time zone 1, and then we'll go back and do the time zone 2 papers as well, just for a bit of extra preparation. All right, good luck with your revision, guys. Cheers.